Good morning, everybody. Hello. It's Thursday, March 18th, 2021. My name is Jennifer Cotton, and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Midlothian, Texas. And that means I teach people how to make their own greeting cards, scrapbook pages, gift packaging, home decor pieces, and more with stamps, ink, paper, and lots of cool tools. So welcome. If it's your first time here to the video, hello. Please say hi as you come on. Hello, everybody. Hey, Linda and Shirley, Betty, Cindy, good morning. As you come on, say hi, even if you're watching replay, because you will be entered to win the 3 cards I'm going to make today. So there's a good little thing for you. Hey, Susan. Hey, Darla. Early, yay. She made it. I have been a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for 19 years now, and it started out part-time, and then it quickly evolved into a very strong part-time job. Like, it started out just for fun and to make a little extra money. Then it became a business, and now it's a full-time job. So I love it, and I've met so many amazing people over my 19 years that I have so many friends now, like literally I can't even count. Yes, Jewel, she says we survived yesterday. I know there's been really bad weather in other parts. All we had here was bad wind, which, I mean, it was crazy how strong the wind was. But I know it was much worse in other places. So I'm glad you survived, Jewel. Hope everybody is okay from that. Yes, the tornadoes, definitely. I mean, I've seen the stuff on TV. It's on right now, actually, with all the damage. So terrible. Good morning. Let me go back here. Hey, Rhonda. I've talked to a bunch of you guys this morning already. Hey, Jennifer. Hey, Landa. Hey, Stella. Shirley, thanks for sharing. And Cindy. Joel, I'm glad you got to be here this morning. Hey, Mary Ann. Hey, Susan and Pat. Thanks for sharing. And the other Pat. 2 Pats in a row. The other Pat's watching while she works. Hey, Stacy. Rhonda Palmer. Martha. Good to see everybody. So as y'all come on, say hi throughout the video. And of course, you can ask questions, make comments, give suggestions, whatever. And if you share the video, comment that you shared. Thank you, Martha and Rhonda. And that will get you entered again to win the cards from today. But when you comment or share or even just click like or a heart or something like that, that helps my business. This is my full-time job, so I appreciate it. Okay, so today I'm going to be making 3 cards with the Welcoming Window stamp set. Yay. I used one of these words, I believe it was last week, like just for a greeting. And I commented that I haven't played with this stamp set yet, but it looks so much fun, and especially the die. Well, both. It's a combo, but the dies look awesome to me, and the stamp set. So I decided to use it today. So that's what I'm going to make my cards with. And my news for alarm telling me to do Facebook Live just went off. Not news. Well, yeah, it's news and like updates and whatever. It'll be a little shorter today because my monthly classes, I do 4 classes every month, are this weekend. So I believe they're mostly sold out, except there might be a couple of card and scrapbook class packets left. I would have to check for you. But you can always feel free to check with me to see if I have anything left. Currently, Stamp-A-Stack and Sampler are sold out. Yay. Sampler. Oh, we have sad news in the stamping world. I don't have mine over here, but that butterfly bijou paper sold out. I've been telling y'all it's while supplies last, and I've been encouraging you to get yours, and it's sold out. So my Stamp-A-Stack included a pack of it my Sampler included a pack of it this month. So luckily I got that order in time, and everybody's is here. So lucky for anyone who's taking Sampler, you get a pack of it. And I had one left, and someone had asked me about that paper, and I was like, well, I have this class, so she took that one. So Anyway, the stamp set and dies are still available. You can still get those. But yeah, that paper sold out. It was very popular. You can still get the Natural Touch specialty paper so far, but that designer paper sold out. Anyway, I don't even remember what led me into that, but my classes are, you know, this weekend. So yeah, anyone taking the sampler is getting a full pack. So good for you. I believe it's a full pack. Yes, it is. Let me check. I have a pack here, a class packet. Oh, it's a half a pack. Oh, it's half, but still, that's good. It's $20 in merchandise. It's half a pack. Anyway, yeah, this is the sampler class packet. The sampler we're going to make is adorable, but it's not just right here where I can show you. Okay, so anyway, the long story short is I'm not going to talk about those classes right now, but they will be coming back in May, and I'll give you all the updates probably next week. But I do have bingo coming up, stamping bingo with the Butterfly Brilliance card class. So I will be using the Butterfly Brilliance stamp set and dies. I don't have them over here today, but I've been showing them. I think I used them in all my projects last week on Facebook Live. And we're going to use those to make our projects. And this is all online, so your packet will get mailed to you. You'll stamp and assemble at home with your own stamps. Hey everybody, good to see so many people watching. And make sure y'all say hi so you can get entered to win the cards today. So we'll use those to make our cards, but obviously I'll be using different designer papers. And we'll also use the Happy Thoughts stamp set, which is in the mini catalog. Let me see if I can find it real quick. To make at least 4 projects. You're also going to get, for bingo class, some product to use with on your projects that you'll get to keep the leftovers of. And then we play games for our door prizes. So you can have all that fun. It's on Zoom. We get to visit, and you know, you get to meet other stampers. Here is Happy Thoughts. So because the butterfly stamp set doesn't have any words in it, so we'll get our words from that one. Of course, you can substitute anything you want if you don't have that. And then yeah, so stamping goodie bag games. What else can you ask for? So the event is Friday, April 23rd. You need to register by April 11th. I'll be emailing more reminders with the link. You can always ask me for the link. Make sure you're signed up for my email newsletter so you can get that link, or get all my links emailed directly to your inbox. Okay, any questions on anything I talk about, let me know. Retreat in a Box. Landa is working hard. I think she's almost finished on preparing all the Retreat in a Box projects, all 10 of them. The deadline has passed, and I'll be making the gifts this weekend up through next week, and then those kits will go out in April. But we have a new one coming up in May. The deadline to sign up will be April 25th, and then your kit will be mailed by approximately May 14th. So we don't have themes and stuff to share with you yet, because we're going to wait till we see the new catalog on March 24th, I believe is the date. That's in my notes later. Yes, March 24th, less than a week away till demonstrators get to see the new catalog online. Sign up now if you want to be one of us and do that. And then April and I will look at that, and really we have to wait until Stampin' Up tells us what we can pre-order to determine if we're going to use new stuff mixed with old stuff, mixed with current stuff, etc. So the details and registration link and all will come out soon at the beginning of April, but just put that in your little notes. A new Retreat in a Box is coming up in May. And what is that? It's a big kit. My husband just texted me something funny. He's going to get his vaccination, first shot today, and he said, note to self, get gas before you get in line. But I know they're actually moving very quickly, those vaccination centers. Anyway, that was funny. Yes, France. Anyone can sign up for bingo. You can be a Stampin' Up demonstrator in another team. anyone, any person in the U.S. is allowed to sign up for it. So great question. I'm glad you asked that. And lots do. There are always lots of my team members as well as others, who are just demonstrators that aren't on my team. I do know them, but anyway, I need to catch up on you guys' comments here. You're welcome. So, retreat in a box. Oh, you get a bag, a personalized bag. You get $50 in merchandise. You get at least 10 make and takes with PDF tutorial, and you get a bunch of gifts from us. And then we offer 2 optional classes. So all those details will come out soon, but just, pencil it in to save your money for that. Let me look here, see who I've missed, which is a lot. Like I said, it's funny because I've texted with so many of y'all this morning already that I'm seeing on here. Maybe that's how you remembered to come see me. Hey, Jackie and Jennifer, Rhonda, good morning. Joni, hey, Joni. Thanks for sharing, Cindy. Good morning, Oma and Robin. I almost called you Rhonda, Robin. Stacy just ordered the bundle. Cindy said glad she got 2 more of the papers yesterday. Yeah, anyone who ordered early yesterday morning got the papers. And by the way, thank you to everyone who placed an order with me yesterday with free shipping. Thank you very much. You'll be getting a class packet next month from me. Good morning, Amy in Indiana. Thanks for sharing, Susan. Hey, Terry. Hey, Shirley in Maine. Good to see you. Good morning, Charlotte. And good morning, France. I didn't say good morning to you, I don't think. Hey, Mary. Thanks for sharing. Hey, Alicia and Deb and Laura and Linda in Idaho. Good to see you. I'm looking obviously on another device here. Hey, Kathy. Hey, Nancy. I love your shadow box to your right. Did I have a class with it? I did. So my right is this way, but I know it might be backwards on Facebook. So I don't know if you mean this one, Susan, or the other one, but they both were classes. This one was several months ago. So there is a tutorial for both of them. If you want to purchase that, just let me know and I can get that link set up for you. I have the PDF tutorial for that one. And currently all those are still current products. Our retiring list comes out next week. And then this was a very recent one, the sort of seashell themed one. So, but they were both classes, the other one, the seashells. Anyway, that was like last month or the month before. So I don't have any packets left, but I do have the PDF tutorial available. Okay, so that's coming up. Virtual new catalog kickoff is coming up on May 15th. That's a Saturday. All the details will come out at the beginning of May once I can see the new catalog and figure out what I'm going to use and do. But everything will be mailed to you. You'll stamp and assemble at home. If you're a demonstrator, you can provide your own stamps. If you're a customer, you can buy them from me and you'll get a discount if you add them on when you register. Or you can substitute images you want. But it will be 10 projects. We'll stamp together all day, basically Saturday, not literally all day, but and it'll be recorded if you just want to like stamp on your own with the PDF tutorial and maybe watch the video recording later. There'll be prizes and all kinds of stuff. It's a lot of fun. So that's Saturday, May 15th. And I have demonstrations as well, extra stamping demos. Okay. So I told you the butterfly bijou paper is sold out. Just be aware of that. It was while supplies last. And unfortunately, in any business in the world, if you see the words while supplies last, you might want to grab it while you can because you literally don't know. We don't know how many they ordered and we don't know how many people are placing orders for that stuff. Coming up in the Stampin' Up! World, March 24th, which is next, is that a Tuesday? I can't remember, but today's the 18th. It's in 6 days. The Stampin' Up! Retiring list for our big annual catalog comes out. And if you haven't been through this before, that means there's going to be hundreds of items that go away from this catalog. Stamp sets, dies, and accessories. And they'll be while supplies last. As soon as that list comes out, of course, we already know the retiring in colors will be retiring because they're called retiring in colors. There's a date in here of when they end, which is the end of this catalog. But we don't know what else will be on the list, so be ready. Same thing, while supplies last. Remember what happened with the butterfly paper. And it's unpredictable. Things that we are like, oh, there'll be plenty of that, sell out immediately, and things that we're like, that's going to be the first thing to go, are available all the way till the end. So it's unpredictable. Better to get what you need. Hey, Tammy, good to see you. Hey, Debbie and Shannon, good morning. Hey, Nancy. Good to see everybody. Make sure y'all say hi so you can be entered. So that list comes out March 24th. I'll be emailing it out to my customers, posting it in my Facebook groups, all that stuff. And then, of course, if you're a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, which anyone can be for only $99 and no obligation, but you get $125 in merchandise plus a free past paper pumpkin. Anyone who does that can see the new catalog March 24th on the computer and start making that list. So another cool thing, just a side note, that we demonstrators take advantage of, when you see the new catalog, you get to see what made it in from this book. So you kind of know, oh, for example, I have no clue, if Welcoming Window is not in the new book, that means it's going to retire. So, for example. So anyway, any questions on that, or being a demonstrator, let me know. Linda, you hit the wrong emoji. I did not see the emoji go by, but I don't know what it was, but sometimes I'll see like an angry face go by, and I'll hope that's a wrong, you know, because it's easy to hit the wrong button on Facebook or on anything technology wise. Anyway, Susan Potter, no problem that you're late. I'm just getting ready to turn the camera down. And who else did I see there? Oh, Becky, good morning. Good morning, everybody. And thanks for sharing, Susan. Oh, Dawn, I missed you. Hey, Dawn. Good morning. All right. I hope I didn't miss anybody else this morning, but sometimes I swear your name doesn't come across, and then later, or your comment doesn't come across on my screen. And then later I see it. I'm like, no, I would have said hi to her if I saw that. Anyway. Okay, so last but not least, before I turn the camera down, Paper Pumpkin for March, right? No, April. I always get that confused. Is going to be fruit themed. I just saw today or yesterday that there is a video Stampin' Up! Did, and I'm going to post a link to the video in the description of this video. It's just a short little promotion. Oh, the cry emoji, Linda. Okay, I'll know you weren't really crying, because the other ones later, when I see them, I'm like, I wonder if they really were mad or something. So the little video they showed for this, or made for this, it kind of gives you a sneak peek, and it looks like, I mean, they tell us that the cards are going to be in the shape of ice creams, different kind of ice creams, and it looks glittery and like it's a popsicle. It's so cute, and it doesn't have to be just for kids, but they did keep kids in mind, so you can share it with other kids in your life or give it as a gift or whatever. But they're going to be perfectly fine for us, because like my whole retreat is ice cream themed for adults. So anyway, it's called So Cool. Yeah, I believe it has its own special box. I can't remember now. Anyway, but it's going to have enough supplies to make 12 fresh, fun-shaped cards with coordinating envelopes. It's going to be vivid watercolor images with 2 matching sticker sheets, a versatile stamp set with sentiments you can use all year long, fun for all ages, of course, and it will coordinate with the ice cream corner designer paper, the one I'm using in the retreat, which is adorable. So what is Paper Pumpkin? It's a craft box in the mail, so if you did want to give it as a gift to somebody, they're going to have everything they need in here to complete the projects, including That was a good one, Dawn. The mad face might be because they don't have the products I'm demonstrating. It could be. You know, that's a good reason to put a mad emoji. So you get a stamp set. This is from last month. You get whatever kind of embellishments you need for that kit. You get adhesive. These are glue dots. There's also dimensionals in this kit. You always get an ink pad. And then you get whatever supplies you need to make the projects, of course. And then you get instructions. So it's great for anybody, you know, people at a assisted living or nursing home, children, relatives, friends that you are like, you should really make cards. It's so much fun. And they don't believe you. Give them a paper pumpkin. It's only $22. And if you subscribe, it's only $22 plus tax. That includes shipping, which I'll put links. You can subscribe and cancel anytime and all that. Or you can just go to my website and make a one-time purchase. And either way, you can get the kit. So any questions, let me know. I'm going to point my camera down now. And I just need, measurements and supply list for these projects today will be on my blog. But I'm going to take the camera off here and flip it around. And then the challenging part is I'm going to clip it to my phone mount. So let's see how this goes today. Oh, good. My hands were stronger today. I think that's part of my problem when I do that is my hands are kind of weak. And so I can't pinch it open wide enough. And I'm always afraid when I do it this way that the phone is going to fly across the room. Okay, so I want to make sure everybody knows that I have an online ordering special every single month. Any month that you place an online order with me, separate from classes and all that stuff, and you use the monthly host code, you will get a free class packet to make 4 cards. I think I have one of last month's packets here. I can show you. I do. Because this person is going to get it from me. She lives local. So I took it out of the little plastic bag. So this is an example of what it looks like. Now, if your online order with the host code is 50 or more, you get a free full accessory. These just are going out in the mail today to my customers from last month because I was waiting for these pearls to come back in stock. And I thought it was worth it because the pearls are amazing. So they get, if it's 50 or more, you get an accessory. 25 or more gets you the class kit. So they get that. They got a thank you card, the little note in there. They get the supplies to make all 4 cards. And as you can see, it's cut, punched, die cut, embossed. There's ribbon in there if needed, etc. And then, of course, your 4 card bases. And then you get emailed a PDF tutorial. And this gets mailed to you, or if you're very local, like this person is, you'll just get it because I see her all the time. So that is free with a $25 order using the host code. And this month we're using Art Gallery. So I designed them using that stamp set. And again, if you don't have those stamps, when I mail you the kit, you can substitute anything you want. And I actually showed these cards. They used Hydrangea Haven for last month on Facebook Live. I'm probably getting confused on when I did my lives, but if you look for the one with Hydrangea Haven, it's these 4 cards. So the host code, first of all, if you just want to make it easy on yourself, you can put your phone camera or your device camera up to this QR code, and it will take you to my store and it will add the host code for you. And you can shop right there. 25 or more gets you the class kit, 50 or more gets you the free accessory, and we're using Art Gallery. So there's that. And then I'll put this on the screen. This is the host code. So you can just go to my store at any time and you can type that in the host code box. Now, if you forget the host code, I have Stampin' Up add it for you, and I give you the gift anyway. Oh, but if your order is 150 or more, do not put that host code in, because in that case, you're going to receive $15 or more free from Stampin' Up, and you won't receive that if you use the host code, so I want you to get that, and then I'll still give you my gifts. Okay, so today we are using the Welcoming Window Bundle. Does anyone have this? Comment if you own this already, because I think it might be like a little sleeper in this catalog. And of course, we don't know yet if it will be carrying over to the new book, but we'll find that out soon enough. So Welcoming Window, there's a stamp set that is $22. It's on page 58, and there's dies that are $34. But of course, you can get the bundle 10% off for $50.25. You just ordered it, Linda. Awesome. And thanks for sharing, Linda. Hey and hello. Hey and hello. Good morning to everybody else. Cindy has it. Awesome. Then I know I'll be seeing these cards from you later today, Cindy. Cindy is really good at making the project she sees on demonstrators videos and posts and stuff, and then she'll what's the word I'm looking for? She'll make them and post them on Facebook. So what am I trying to say? I lost it. I was going to say something about butterfly, about this. Oh, about Cindy making the cards. That's what I was going to say. If you are inspired by what I make and you want to make those cards and show them on Facebook, please do. And, you know, post them here on my business page, and everybody else is going to love seeing your inspiration. I did want to take a moment to, this is my second Butterfly Brilliant stamp set, and I wanted to save it for Facebook Live. I totally forgot I was going to do this, and assemble this for you guys and cut it apart. So it's going to give you two things. I'm grabbing some scissors, so I walked away if my voice is fading. It's going to show you two things, you know, how I assemble a red rubber stamp set and how I'm going to cut this apart. This is my second set. These are only $17. This is the one that I was talking about earlier. It's an early release. Anyone can purchase it now. There's a bundle. I've talked about it a bunch, but if you missed it, ask me for the details. I can send you the flyer. But a lot of people are purchasing two of the stamp sets, so I bought the bundle and then I purchased this separately so that they can have two versions. One with all the butterflies on one stamp, which you want to keep them intact because it matches the die exactly. And one so you can do the single images. And then the other thing I'm going to do is keep all these pieces, which I didn't last time, that come out of the middle, to use those as a stamp. So let me show you what I'm going to do. I always peel off half of the sticker sheet. This is just a giant one, and I'm going to stick this down to it. But I'm also going to grab my readers, since I want to use these little ones as a stamp. I'm going to peel the protective coating, hopefully. Obviously, I haven't practiced this. I want the sticker to stay on my sheet here. And I only want the protective coating to come off. Hopefully that makes sense. There's still a sticker right there. I'm just taking off the protective part so that when I put this down, those will get our sticker as well. The sticker here is what makes your stamps really sticky to stay on your clear blocks really well. It's a little challenging because these are so small. So I'm going to do the ones on bottom too. Sorry, this is taking a second. But hopefully you'll find this interesting. I thought it might be helpful. I don't know. That one's not wanting to come off properly. The sticker wants to come with it. And I'm like having to turn it so I can see where these openings are. I showed a sample last week. Again, I think I'm getting my dates confused. But I showed a sample recently that one of my team members, Dorothy, made using these spots as like animal pattern background print. So that's what a lot of people are doing with this. That one doesn't want to come off, so I'll just leave it for now. I'll fix that later. Okay, so I peeled off half. Now you have to take the protective coating off this part. Otherwise you're sticking the sticker to this, and that's not good. And I do want all of these to come off, so that's fine. Because you, again, you don't want to stick the sticker to this thing. That's just a huge mess. And then, uh-oh, this is sticky. Where did this one come from? That's still sticky, so I'm going to put it back. Then, what I do with any size stamp is I align the outline of the die cut part with the outline of the sticker. They should match exactly. So I'm going to pull this down so I can be as close to it as I can visually. And so I'm not pulling it off screen so y'all can't see what I'm doing. It's just so I can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to align this. I'm still barely on screen with this. Whew, I'm really far away. I may just have to put my head in the camera. Sorry. Here. I need to pull it closer to me. Hopefully y'all understand why, because you want to align this as perfectly as you can. Okay. So that's pretty decent. It's a little bit off, but with this kind of stamp, especially, it's much easier to do this right under your face. And with a smaller stamp, you can very easily see where to place it. So I do half, and then I pick it up, and I slowly peel the other half of the sticker off. Just, again, in this case, it's a big one. And place it down. But what I was trying to say is if my image, the sticker is a little off from the real images, it's not like I'm ever stamping it super exact. It's not like words or something. And then you just peel this off. And then we have these that I couldn't get that backing off. So I'll do it opposite style. I don't know if I even did that one right. But this one's right. Luckily, those are not the real stamps. Okay, so now my stamp is mounted. This guy still didn't stick down. That one hates me. There we go. So now all of these are stamps, which I will keep this, by the way. I'd never throw that away because I basically use it to stick my stamp back down on in the case so that it doesn't stick really hard inside that case. So all of these could go on one clear block, or you could use them however you want individually, of course. And they can be their own little stamp. So that's side note number 1. That one is giving me trouble. But that's going to work. So little stamps there. Then this is the one I'll cut apart. So I do have some old scissors that we used to sell that are really good for cutting stamps apart. And they have a short scissor part and they're sharp. So that's what makes them good. So I will just be very careful about cutting around the image. Of course, this is sticky, so it's a little different situation. And then I will go around and trim the excess off. But I don't want to cut like this because I may cut off too much of the foam here, which is the stability part. I'm just going to trim, when possible, the red rubber only. That's the part that makes those little lines that we hate when we stamp. And I'll do this for all of them, but I'll only do one on camera here. So that is how I am using stamp set number 2 of Butterfly Brilliance. I definitely want to cut around these antennae because I can just see the ink getting on there and coming off on my project later. So, does anybody find this helpful? Why? Let me see what y'all said. My finally did my second butterfly. I was in a sweat. I don't think it's, the cutting is the easy part. The first part was what I was sweating on. Boom. And then I'll figure out how I will arrange those on there, of course. I need to move these guys, but where's my case? I do, with red rubber, like I said, I always keep that sticker sheet to put my stamps back on. And on regular stamp sets, I'm just going to put these here for now. We'll fix it later. For regular stamp sets, I always keep that outside red rubber part to put all my stamps back in. Okay, hopefully that was helpful. Let's get started on our cards today. Our first card, so what I did for this stamp set, I do this kind of stuff a lot, but this one was even more so, is I went on Pinterest and I typed in shutters, first of all. And I just looked at pictures of windows. Because I don't have shutters on my house, never have, probably never will. So, you know, I wanted to get an idea of how shutters look and what color they are and all that stuff. Oh, I wasn't supposed to show you this yet. The second thing I did was then go look at, of course, cards other people had made with these stamps. It's like normal, get your inspiration. So there was one of the pictures on Pinterest was a really pretty with a house, a real house with white brick and then like a dark wood shutters. And there were kind of, I don't know styles, but maybe mission style or something, like just basic, almost like you could make them yourself out of wood. So anyway, that was the inspiration for this card. So my card base is a half sheet of Rococo Rose, a retiring color. What bundle? This bundle is not discontinued. Marcia, if you're talking about Welcoming Window or the butterflies, neither one is discontinued. So I'm not sure what you're thinking. And we're not allowed to sell those right now, cash and carry. But let me look real quick on my, it might be on back order. I didn't see it this morning, but let me look real quick. Welcoming Window. But yeah, neither one is discontinued. Yeah, it's just on back order, which means you can still order it and it'll come in. It'll ship immediately to you when it comes in. Okay, so back to the card. This is a half sheet of Rococo Rose cardstock. So it was 8.5 by 11. Now it's 5.5 by 8.5. And this color is retiring. Get it now. Get your ink refill. Get your cardstock. Get your blah, blah, blah. Because in 6 days, it's going to be while supplies last. I'm going to fold this in half with a bone folder. So I will... Now, the butterfly designer paper is the only thing that's sold out, but the stamp set is not sold out. This is going to be in our new catalog in May, and it will be around for a year. So, and the dies. Fold it in half. I rest it against my thumbnail, and then, and I actually had some people order the butterfly stamps last night also. Fold it with the bone folder, and then that will make the inside less wrinkled when you use that bone folder instead of your finger. This is my card base, so I'm going to set that aside. Well, actually, I'm leave it here to show you, but then I'll set it aside. Then I have a piece of basic white. Seems like the wrong size. It is the wrong size. Let me grab a piece of white. It's supposed to be 4 by 5 1/4 inches. But that is smaller. I must have just grabbed something laying around. But 4, it'll probably look fine, but I'm gonna do it right. 4 inches, and then 5 1/4. If I can pick this up. I forgot to mention that it's kind of cool here today too. That wind brought in some very cool weather. So 4 by 5 1/4. And then it's going to be embossed, so I will emboss that one. That will just give me a skinnier border there. Basic white. And I was going to say it was embossed with the brick and mortar embossing folder. So I'll emboss that real quick. I'll emboss it later because I'm going to use my machine for something else. But that'll get embossed. 4 by 5 1/4 basic white. And then I have, I do not know what these scraps are for. I don't think they belong with this card. We will see. But I have these other scraps of basic white, which I'm going to stamp some stuff on in a minute. And I have several scraps. And then I have a piece that I pre-die cut of basic white. This one is, Marcia, you're fine. You're very cold. But yeah, Butterfly Brilliance Bundle is available as far as I know. And if it's not, that just means back order or something and it's coming back. So it's not gone forever. Only the paper is. You might be thinking of the collection, and that won't be available. Let me see what number you put. 159408. Yeah, that's the collection. And that's because it includes this paper that's sold out. So you can't buy the collection anymore, but you can buy individually this bundle and this other paper. So we're on the same page, Marcia. It just takes me a while to get there sometimes. Okay, so this die cut piece is from these amazing dies here called Hippo and Friends in our annual catalog. And it's the smallest image here, but Hippo and Friends, forget the hippos. I mean, of course, they're amazing, but it has 3 different label dies in it that all have 3 or 4 layers. There's one of my dies Landa has right now. So there's 4 there, 3, and 3. Amazing. So I pre-die cut that because you guys are going to get to see me do plenty of die cutting today. If you're like, what is die cutting? You'll get to see it. So I pre-did that. And then I also pre-die cut from the set of dies 2 shutters and this little window box. These are from the paper I used is the In Good Taste designer paper. This is in the annual catalog. It might retire. We don't know yet. If a designer paper doesn't retire, I would put my money on this one, but it could retire because usually they all do. But anyway, this is this amazing paper that has all these textures like you would find in your home. So there's wood grains, there's tiles, there's carpets, paint. It's amazing. I don't even know if my pack here has all of them, but it's gorgeous. And then there's other stuff, I guess wallpaper, because I do think they're like basically surfaces you would find in a home. And it's like a double pack. You get a lot of this paper when you purchase it. So In Good Taste. And then let me show you the dies. So there are 2 shutters, which there's actually a stamp of a shutter that will cut, these dies will cut that out. It's a lot bigger than that, of course. That doesn't help. But I just cut the paper. Then the window box die is this one here. If I can pick it up. And the window box, which I'm going to use on another card later, so you'll see this in full, puts grains in it. It doesn't really matter for this piece because they kind of fade out because it is printed, but it'll show later on the other card. So these 3 here, these 3 dies, put grains in them. Anyway, that's where I got those from. Then, based on the photo of a picture of a real house, I just cut some little 1/4 inch strips of this designer paper to make like 2 pieces of wood at the top and bottom of each shutter. I do have a 4th one here somewhere. It's like the same color as my table. So that's all the pieces I'm going to use to make the window. So for my stamping, I'm going to stamp on all these scraps of white, basically. And let me grab my stamps now. We are using this window stamp, which basically is like stained glass, or I don't know what those are called, but it's like it has metal. Somebody here I'm sure knows the name of that stamp. And then I mean, not the stamp, but the type of window. The greeting is going to say, sending sunshine for a beautiful birthday. So cute. There's lots of good greetings in this stamp set. And then there's 2 different flower images, so we're using one of them. And each of them, you'll see today, has flowers. So you stamp the greenery in one color and the flowers in another color, and it fills in these holes. It's so cool. So I'm going to do that. So I have the flowers here. And I think that's it. I had an extra stamp in my stack that doesn't belong. Okay, so for the window, I'm going to stamp in Early Espresso ink on these 2 larger pieces of white, the window. These are just scraps of basic white, so you just need them a little bigger than your image. If you don't have a really firm table like I do, mine's basically like a countertop firmness, make sure you use our Stampin' Pierce mat, the foam mat under your photopolymer stamps. So there's that. I think I'm done with Early Espresso. And then these 2 scraps here are for my flowers. I need 2 of them. So I'm going to use Garden Green and Rococo Rose. Good, Linda. I'm glad. She said that was helpful, seeing me separate the stamp. So hopefully, I know a lot of people are like, yeah, I know how to do that. I'm inking this up in Garden Green, the greenery part, I should say, and stamping that. And of course, I don't know what kind of flowers these are, but probably something. And then Rococo Rose for these flowers. And hopefully I will get these lined up properly. Is this the right one? I don't think it is. I got confused, I believe. There's obviously 2 different flowers, and each one fits the different images here. Oh, this is the right one. It's a little trick on your brain to figure out which one goes to which one. See that? So you just align the holes, but what threw me off was this top left flower is, there's not really a hole. There's just a space to the top left of the greenery there. Okay, so, and then my greeting is going to go on this die cut label in Rococo Rose ink. I need to be taller so I can reach this stamping area better. Sending sunshine for a beautiful birthday. And it's a really pretty font as well. Okay, so now on die cutting, I'm considering this to be the top of the windows. And on the die, there is a die to cut these windows out, the stamped image. None of these dies are straight lines that cut out like the shutters and this like a sort of wood piece that's like a window box, but a stamped one, and this window. None of them are straight lines. So it's very subtle where the indentions are. So anyway, I figured out where the top of the window is, and I just put nail polish at the top so I can just remember every time to align it that's the top. So then I die cut those 2 out, and I pre-did those, and then but these I am going to die cut for you guys, and I think I pre-did the others. Let me check real quick. Yes, I did. So this will be the only flowers, knock on wood, that I have to die cut today. So there's a die cut for this set of flowers. And by the way the flowers are, you're going to see on this card, I'm not using the pot, but there are 3 terracotta pots that you can stamp and die cut out in this set. And so these are like bunches that can go on top of there, or they kind of look like a little bush. They don't have a bottom part, in other words, or they, like how I'm going to use them, they're just growing out of a flower box. So they're really versatile. There's no stems at the bottom. It's just like a bunch. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so I need to die cut these 2 out, and I need to emboss my white there. And then we can assemble. So these, Magic of Television, they've been die cut out. And I did just want to, you know, make sure I showed at least one for anyone new. So here's my die cut machines, a Stampin' Cut and Emboss. It comes with everything you need to be able to use it immediately. With everything Stampin' Up sells, you do not have to make any additional purchases to be able to use it. I have to die cut one at a time because I only have one set of these dies. So you put your paper on the cutting pad here, then align the die with the image. Then the other cutting pad goes on top, and then you run it through. And as a reminder, I've said this like in one other video, but with this machine, if you get your dies too close to this edge that goes into the machine, it may not go in. And that's because it's making it too thick here. So just don't put it too close to that edge, or this edge if you're going this way. You can run it either direction. And then of course it cuts it out perfectly. Mine's slightly aligned wrong, but it'll be fine. That's because I'm so far away from this. Can't really see what I'm doing exactly. And then I'll repeat. And of course you can put a sticky note across this also to hold it in place if you feel like it's going to shift on you. And I'm turning it a tiny bit slower than normal because it always shakes the camera really bad. Gotta go, Linda. Yeah, you can always watch replay. No problem. And there's that one. Again, slightly off because of my angle. I'm not seeing properly. And then for embossing, I'll remove these two pieces on bottom. All the instructions come with the machine and all that stuff. But I'm just using number 1 here. Number 1. And on these type of embossing folders, you need to pay attention. Do you want the bricks going this way or this way? And I want them going this direction. So you put the paper, I'm going to hold it over here so I can see, in whatever direction you need it. But no matter how the paper is, put the folder into the machine so that the folded end is going to be inserted first. And then don't roll backwards. Just go through one time. And then for this one, where is my plate? You use this other plate that comes with the machine. It's number 4. And of course, like I said, there's instructions. And it's because of the thickness of the folder that you use number 4. With other embossing folders that are thinner, you put them between these two plates. So anyway, okay, so there we go. I had stuck my little silicone craft sheet under the machine to keep it from wiggling around. And then of course you're gonna have bricks. Bricks are kind of the theme also on all 3 of these cards because all of them have a brick background one way or another. So that wasn't on purpose, but ended up that way. Okay, now I have all my pieces. So to put this together, I really wanted these shutters, but I did not think they matched these windows. Like, that's too fancy for these, you know, homemade shutters basically. So I figured out what to do. Grabbing my dimensionals here. So I took my scissors and I cut off the fancy window. And I was like, should I save that? And I couldn't figure out, so I didn't save it. And then I cut off this fancy window. And I did cut it so that none of the white was showing. Like, I tried to cut just slightly below the stamped early espresso line. And then I glued them back together and made one window. And basically it should look fine by the time they're glued back together. I think on my original, I actually left a little bit of the first window on one of the pieces, and that might actually be smarter, but whatever, it's too late now. So I'll grab my silicone sheet again because I want to put adhesive right at the edge of this, because I just need to make sure it's all the way to the edge so that when I piece these back together, it will stick. But don't worry, even if it's just a tiny little overlap, this whole thing's gonna get attached down to the card, so it'll be fine. So I made this window, and I was happy with it. I did ask Isabel and Scott if it looked like a real window to them, and they were iffy, but I was like, well, let me fix it up and it'll be fine. So there's my window. I'm going to attach this. This is my Stampin' Seal adhesive. I need to make sure my shutter fits, and it's just kind of over here to the left side of the card, but leave room for your shutter. So that is going on flat, and then my shutters are also going to go on flat, just to the left and right of the window. But then my little, I have no clue what these will be called, because, and I think they're really just decorative, but my little pieces of wood that I cut that are 1/4 of an inch tall by the width of this window, which is a weird measurement. The easiest thing to do is cut yourself a skinny strip of the designer paper and hold it up to this shutter and hand cut it. Although I just had a thought that what I should have done, I could have just cut some strips slightly longer and run them all through at one time on the die. Then it would have been perfect. Too late now. So hopefully you understand why I'm not giving you an exact measurement on that. And so I'm gonna flip these over to the back. Where did I put that one I just had in my hand? And I'm putting them on this white paper so I can kind of see what I'm doing. And I'm going to use my black mini dimensionals, since the grain I'm using is very dark. And I already showed you that I cut the window box out. I'm going to do the same thing on it with the black dimensionals. So I've already got some cut in half here. So these are mini Stampin' Dimensionals in black, and they've been cut in half. So I can put 2 halves on each little thing here. Anybody have a word for me of what these would be called? Maybe a carpenter is out there. Ooh, I might sneeze. It's feeling stronger. Excuse me. And then for my window box, it's larger, so I can use full mini dimensionals. And I will put 3. Y'all know me, I'm frugal with dimensionals, but designer paper's thin. This is pretty long. You need to stabilize that middle part. Okay, so I'm going to put these on. Keep looking at your comments to see if anybody's telling me what to call these pieces of wood. And so one's towards the top. And if they have, you know, any detail on these, on the designer paper of this wood, I'm just trying to vary where I'm putting it so that it looks like it was just cut from random pieces. I'm just visually sort of aligning them even with each other from the one on the left and the one on the right. It's coming together. And then the last one. So something like that. Then I'm going to add my window box. Marsha. Aw. Thank you guys. Let's see who. Oh, Susan got her internet back. Yes. Wood slats. That's a good one, Robin. Good, good. Yeah, the wood slats. I like to use descriptive words because some of my customers need more description. They're either sight impaired or totally blind, which I'm sure they know what I'm talking about anyway, like on a shutter, but still. So thank you. Yes, wood slats. Good one. I was going back and checking you guys' comments. Okay, so then I'm just gonna place this window box at the bottom. It'll cover the bottom of the window, but kind of be half on, half off. And then these flowers So this is what I was asking my family. Does this look like a real window? And they're like, I mean, it's fine, whatever. But when you add the flowers, they kind of finish it off and make it look better. So white mini dimensionals for the flowers. I just did 2 on each one. And then one over to the left, and then the one on the right kind of overlaps. Well, definitely overlaps that one, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter. And so you see how they look like they're growing in the box and just hanging over the edge there. Hopefully you see that. And then for my greeting, more mini dimensionals with the white ones. I'll do 4. And that goes to the bottom right, so it's going to overlap that right shutter. This will go on my Rococo Rose card base. And then to finish it off, I was trying to, like, I wanted to add ribbon, and I couldn't really figure out what to do. And then I was like, oh, linen thread, because anything bigger, I think, would overwhelm this card because of space and stuff. So anyway, I used linen thread. I folded a piece over on itself to make it 2 strips. Sorry, it's so curly. And then I tied both of those into a bow. So I'm just going to make a regular bow, but with 2 strings instead of 1. I always like to tie from the roll if I can, so that I have no waste on the one end. I'm going to do that again. I didn't make it quite long enough. But with linen thread, twine, or ribbon, I like to tie it from the roll if I can. Of course, if I'm cutting for you for a class, I'll just we'll cut you just a piece, but okay. Now I'm just taking that time to make the loops even. Okay, so a cute little double bow, that linen thread, and then we'll glue dot that on. I almost thought my glue dots were gone. Don't forget, with our new mini glue dots, if you purchase them now, the dot is on the piece that you're peeling back on the roll. So just peel it back, fold it down until you see 1 dot, and then you can just press really firmly into that roll, pick it up, and place on your card. Okay, so there's our first card. Cute, 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 I think. Maybe the first one's the original one I made, spacing wise, how I laid it out, it's a little better. So I'll give that one as the prize to whoever wins. Let me hold that one up close. What do y'all think? Hey, Barbara. Thank you, Stella. So I hope you like how I figured out how to make it like this style. I wish I could show you the picture, but it's on my phone, which we're filming on, you know, from Pinterest, of a house with white brick and these kind of wood shutters. But was my inspiration to and I really wanted to recreate that here. So there's that one. The next card, my base is crumb cakes, 5.5 by 8.5. My next layer is Highland Heather, and it's been embossed with that brick and mortar embossing folder, and it's 4 by 5 1/4. Then I have a piece of crumb cake that's 3 inches by 4, and a basic white that's 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. And then I have scraps of basic white. Did I not pre-do these? Darn it. I thought I was being so careful yesterday, making sure I pre-did what I needed to pre-do. Apparently not. Okay. I'll have to die cut these, but it's just 2 little images. Okay, so these white ones are the ones I'm stamping on. Let me fold my card base in half to get it out of my way. course, I would recommend you stamp and sign your name on the back of that before you glue anything to it. So whoever you give the card to knows you made it. And you get full credit because of your signature. For this one, I'm going to clean that stamp that I inked in the wrong color earlier. From the stamp set, I'm using the brick stamp, which is so cool. Where's the stamp set? This image here, as well as the picture. I'm using this image here, which I assume, yeah, it's just like a piece of wood that could be a different type of window box. You stamp it and then die cut it out. There's a die for it, or lots of stuff, which I'm using it for something different. What else am I using? And then the other flowers, the other flower design. And my greeting is going to say, my sweet friend. I did just want to point out that after I finished all my cards, I noticed this little image, which is like a corner of greenery. It's literally a corner, so you could put that at the corners of the windows. I was like, oh darn, I should have used that somewhere, but it was just too late to fit it in. So, but that's cute. Okay, so on this one, this piece, these are scraps for my flower and picture. This is a piece that I need to stamp like more carefully on. So for that one, just grab a different scratch paper. I actually put scratch paper on my list for what I need to do videos, so now I have plenty of scratch paper. On this piece, I'm going to make a table. Now, it's not going to be a perfect table. I think of the kind that people in my family have made before. None of us are, well, I don't even say us as me being one of them. But none of them are like craftsmen or carpenters. But they can make some furniture that's halfway decent. So that's what this table is going to look like. So it's going to be coming off, or I'm going to stamp it off the left edge a tiny bit so that there's no weird floating there. So I stamped it across, like horizontal. And then I'm just going to make a table center. So it's like a cafe table. Ooh, I aligned that much better than my other ones. The other one, it was higher. That's totally fine. So that's a table, but I'm going to put some stuff around it to distract from the fact that it doesn't exactly look like a table. But again, think of a coffee shop, a cafe, a street like out in another country where they have little coffee shops and little tables for us. So there we go. There's what that is. And then I'm going to use crumb cake. That was early espresso, by the way. In crumb cake ink, I'm going to make use the bricks as a background. So I'm not exactly trying to fill in a brick wall here. So I'm gonna stamp the bricks kind of directly on top of the table, but because it's crumb cake, it'll just look like they're around the table. Sort of just top right, then down to the left a little, then down to the right a little, then down to the left a little. So I think I'm doing a very similar thing on the next card with the bricks. So that's like a what is the word? I don't know, but I'm sure y'all know what kind of brick wall that looks like. So that's that piece. I'm finished stamping on it. Oh no, I'm not. I need to add my greeting. Then I'll be finished stamping on it. The greeting is going to be in Highland Heather. Just down in the bottom right hand corner. Hello friend is it says my sweet friend. That is a really small greeting, so it'll fit right down there in the right hand corner in Highland Heather. Then I'm done stamping on that, and now I'm gonna do my flower and picture. So the picture will just be Highland Heather. And there's a die cut to cut that out. And then the leaves for this other set of flowers are garden green. It's funny, when I ink this up, it doesn't look like I got enough ink, but it stamps fine, so. And then the flowers will be Highland Heather. really cute. So this one's more like, it's a different type of plant where less like a bush and more like it's got those long leaves that are growing over a pot, which they're going to go in this picture, so that's perfect. Okay, so that's all the stamping on this card. Let me die cut these two images out real quick because I can't remember to do anything the way I planned, apparently. I'll grab my mini for this. It'll save us a little space and time. I got a new top plate for my mini. I do not remember if I showed you guys that before. So I'll put both, luckily both pieces of paper will fit on here at one time. There's a die cut for the picture and of course a die cut for the other flowers. I'm gonna grab a sticky note. I do feel like with the mini, I use sticky notes more because, I don't know, it just, for me, the stuff can shift a little bit easier on this one. And then, otherwise, the mechanical part is the same. It's the same thickness of cutting pads, all that stuff. Crank it through. And then take those off. Hey, Diana. Pat, you forgot you own those scissors? Those are like back in the day, those scissors I cut my stamp set with. These, we sold these through Stampin' Up, and we had to trim all of our rubber stamps, so everybody owned those scissors, and they are amazing, and mine still work perfectly fine even after all these years. So I'm surprised Pat forgot she had those, but they also work really well. They're like craft scissors, so you can cut like your wire when you do those kind of crafts and stuff like that. Anyway, okay, so here's all my pieces for this card, and get everything out of the way there. To put it together, I will attach my 2 3/4 by 3 3/4 basic white that I stamped my table on to the 3 by 4 crumb cake flat, and then that's going to go on the Highland Heather that's been embossed with the brick and mortar folder with Stampin' Dimensionals. I'll use 5 mini white dimensionals, so the 4 corners and the center, and then put that on, or right in the center of the Highland Heather cardstock, and then that will go on my card base flat. And then the picture and flowers are going to have Stampin' Dimensionals. Does this look like a table to y'all? We haven't been cutting rubber stamps in a long time. That is true, Pat, but I do still, every once in a while, I will have to trim a little bit off of a red rubber one, you know, just because it's given me that little trouble. But also I just keep them, I have scissors in like 4 locations in this room, but in one of those locations, that's where those scissors live. So I always know where they are when I need to grab them. I just put 2 mini white dimensionals on each of these images. And so I'm just going to place the picture right there on the table. And then of course the flowers above it where, you know, they cover the top of the picture so that it looks like they're placed down in there. Then I didn't like, thank you, Oma. Even though this looks like a table to me, I didn't like the connection right there. So I wanted to cover it up a little bit, disguise it. So I grabbed some gorgeous grape sheer ribbon, which is back in stock. Get it now before it goes back in low stock. And it's in our mini catalog. We don't know if it'll be in the new book, so it could, you know, next time when it goes low, it could become Wasp Flies Last or something. I don't know. Anyway, it's a really pretty ribbon. And it is grape, so it's darker, but it works on this card. The other ribbon I looked at using was the striped purple, which I didn't use, but note that is low inventory, so get that while you can. Okay, so I'm going to do a bunny ear bow with this. And this is, by the way, so soft. Like, I can't explain how soft this ribbon is. I'm going to make 2 bunny ears, lots of space in between them. One ear is in my right hand, one's in my left. All my fingers are pointing at me, because if not, I've twisted my ribbon. The right hand goes over the left. And then that same right one, you push that loop down into the rabbit hole. And then you start to form the bow, but of course then you can fix and adjust and make the loops the size you want and all that stuff. And I do, personally, when I use this ribbon, I have to do a lot of adjusting of the loops and stuff. Although that went a little faster than normal. So I'll trim my ends there. And then, so I thought this would look cute on the picture, but I put it at the seam of the table instead. So, mini glue dot. And that's what I came up with. There you go. I did think later on all of these cards that Wink of Stella would be good in lots of places on them. So, you know, of course, you can always add Wink of Stella to anything, really. Thank you, Jackie and Dana. Of course, yes, purple. Love purple. It always looks so good on projects. And Oma said, love my scissors. Yes. And it's like they never go dull. Like, I do have 2 or 3 pair, but I mean, I've had them all since the beginning. So, pretty cool. I'm still cracking up that Pat's like, thanks for showing those. Thank you, Kathy and Marilyn and Marcia. Those are probably from the other card, but I'm going back. Diana. Yeah, you got to put that set on your list. Thank you, Sandy. Thanks, Kim. I know I'm going back to your past comments, but still, thank you guys. Thank you, Stella. Good, good, good. Glad you guys like it. Okay, so last but not least, let's see which one's better. This one is kind of just a base. I mean, it's not a basic card, but as far as what this stamp set does, this is the basic of it, is what this card will end up being. So we have basic white card base, 5.5, 8.5. Purple Posy, it's retiring. Such a pretty purple. Get your paper and your ink pad. Well, we don't have the ink pad, but get your paper and your Stampin' Blends and accessories now. And Highland Heather stamped off is Purple Posy, so you're good on the ink. Okay, so we have that. And then a layer of white, so 3 3/4 by 5. Then I have scraps of crumb cake. I do have to die cut something on this one, but it's different than the flowers. Then I have these pieces here, Purple Posy and cardstock vellum. They are approximately 1.5 by 2 3/8, and you'll see why it's approximate. And then I have 2 scraps of basic white. This is the one I did pre-do. So I'm gonna do the largest terracotta pot on one of them and die cut it out, and then the flowers on the other and die cut that out. So for this card, let me fold my card base in half and set it aside, and I can put this large posy aside. And then I will be stamping on the big piece of white, and then all my scraps. I'll be doing stuff too. Okay. Grab all my stamps that I need. I'm reusing these. That flower pot. I didn't put a greeting on this card. So actually the only stamps I'm using are one of the flowers, the one with the little pieces that like are growing out of a pot, the leaves and the flowers that go with it, and then the largest terracotta pot. So I know I've already pre-die cut it, but I just want to show you that I used cinnamon cider as my color for my terracotta pot. So I thought that was a pretty good color for that. By the way, all of these images are that watercolor effect. So none of them on purpose are going to stamp a solid image. You're going to have lighter and darker, and you're going to have some white spots. And that is done on purpose. I mean, maybe the flowers, or the leaves, I should say, are solid. And of course the greetings are, but the rest are not solid. So I don't think you did anything wrong on that. And then for the flowers, I used a different green. This one is soft seafoam, because this is a more pastel card. And then for the, I do want to show you this. So I stamped that in soft seafoam, which is a really soft, pretty green. And then for the flowers, I used Highland Heather, but I used the purple posy version of Highland Heather, which is ink it up like normal, stamp it on scratch paper, do a full stamp off, don't just do it real quick. And then when you stamp it, the color is magically purple posy. Let me grab my purple posy paper. Isn't that perfect? So again, stock up on your paper, your Stampin' Blends, all that stuff, and just make sure you have a Highland Heather ink pad for purple posy. It's a perfect match. And then I die cut those out. But I am gonna do die cutting for you. I'm gonna stamp this one last because I'll use my images to measure where I want to stamp. So for my die cutting, using some scraps of crumb cake here, and I'm using the dies I talked about in the beginning that put the grains on there. So there's this other style of window. It's got 6 window panes and it's kind of curved at the top. It's like a rectangle, and it has wood grain embossing all around. So it's thick. The wood part would be thick. And then there's a shutter image. So it's one die that cuts out 2 shutters, same thing with the wood grains, and it's the same shape as this window. And then I'm going to use the window box again. But all of these are on crumb cake cardstock this time. So what I did, this is from me, if you guys remember when I did the chick Facebook Live with the chick stuff, I didn't exactly like, I didn't even use it, but I told you this, I didn't exactly like how the chicken coop was cutting out. It puts these wood grain images too. But anyway, what I figured out, because a lot of other demonstrators are doing it, is if you will ink these dies up, you'll get more detail depending on the project, because I didn't need it on the other one where I used the window box. You'll get more detail when you die cut it out. So, and then I saw this somewhere that another demonstrator basically just, well, I don't even know if this is how they did it, but I took a scrap of paper, literally, I turned around and grabbed a scrap, and I bent it down so that there was, you know, about 3/4 of an inch of a piece there. And I stuck a dimensional to it, whatever color and size was laying in front of me, and peeled the backing off. And then, so I have a handle, and I have that. And now I can pick up my die and put it in an ink pad. This is crumb cake ink, and press, because I want to get a decent amount of ink on there. And then I can put it on my project that way. Now, I want to put it directly on the die cutting machine because I don't want that sliding around and smearing the ink. So I want to be ready to go. So let me grab my machine. Anyway, so I thought that was a great tip. I know most of us have seen inking your dies, but if you haven't, there's a tip. And you can even use that just to stamp with, like press it on paper. We are going to go ahead and die cut it. But the little handle part was, I thought, cool. But I do want to get a good amount of ink on there. You'll see on my sample, on the window pane part, this one, I don't have as much ink because I didn't do it this way. And I was too lazy to go back and do a second one. But I did do a second one on these. So you can't even see the ink on there because of the color of crumb cake, but it's there. Is that too close to the edge? I put that dye really close to the edge of the paper. And then I'm doing the window pane, window box the same way. So all three of these get inked. See, there's ink getting on my scratch paper now. And then I'm just gonna emboss or die cut like normal. I can't tell if the one is too close to the edge because of where I am. Sorry, I'm gonna turn it slow to try not to shake the camera too much. Normally, I turn them very quickly. And you could do any color, by the way. If you wanted it a lot darker, I could have gone with early espresso or something. But this is crumb cake on crumb cake, and you'll see it's still very dark. Whew, I barely made it with this window. Y'all see how close to the edge I got that? So, love it. Like I said, you could use these as stamps by just pressing to get it onto your cardstock. And I just use a baby wipe to clean it off. And I'm just going to do it now because I don't want to forget that that ink is on there and do something different with these another time and be like, where did all that brown come from? So just a baby wipe should be fine. You could go run them under the sink if you made a real mess. But especially that's a light ink, so it should be fine. There's all these little sort of rectangles, and there's a shaped one at the top that come out, which you could of course cut these out in other colors to piece back together, or I'm sure there's all kinds of cool stuff you can do with those, but I didn't use them on my project. But like even these shutters can be cut down and be just wood grain, like wood planks. Thank you, Robin, for the word. So lots of cool stuff with this set of dies. Put it on your wish list. It's amazing. And if you want to get it through me, I always have an ordering special for you. So, okay, so there's all my pieces. I'm going to stamp on this one, the white, the big 3 3/4 by 5 white. I'm going to stamp the bricks again. So, ooh, sorry about that. They're going to go, the windows just kind of going to go in the middle of this piece. So I want the bricks kind of on the left and right. So I'm just laying that on there to see. Now I'm looking for my brick stamp though over here. Got it. And that crumb cake ink pad, which I just closed and put somewhere way far away. Okay, so basically the same thing I did with the bricks on the first card. I mean on the last card. But on kind of to the left side and to the right side. So not all the way to the left or right. And then I'll just kind of go back and forth. You could of course flip the stamp image around if you wanted to give more interest. I am not. So something like that. And then we just have to put it together. So this is, or what I meant by this is like the standard is we're making a window out of all these. So I use the vellum as to make it look more like glass, like a frosted. Then I wanted the inside of this house to have purple walls because why not, right? So I'm going to place adhesive on the back of the window pane part. Grab my silicone craft sheet, which just keeps adhesive from sticking to your scratch paper and your table. It kind of just magically disappears off of the silicone sheet. And I just put little pieces around. It does not need to be fully covered. It will be fine. And then actually I'll just leave my vellum on the table and place the paper down on top of it. So it was hard for me to figure out exactly what size to cut the paper to fit in because the top is curved. So if you can see, there are little corners poking out. So I'll just snip those off with scissors. And then I'll do the same exact thing with the next layer of paper. But you don't want to put adhesive on vellum that's going to show on the front of your project because it'll show through. So I still need to keep my adhesive to attach this purple piece on the edges, which, yeah, I do want, let me see how I did this. Actually, I'm lying. I'm looking at my sample now. Okay, I do want to keep the adhesive on the edges to hide it, but I'm going to use dimensionals. Obviously, you wouldn't want to put a dimensional right there because it would show through on the front. So, for this one, I'm going to grab another sheet of mini dimensionals where I just have the edges because I like how thick the edges are of mini Stampin' dimensionals. They're really wide. And so you can cut skinny strips, but they'll be long. Of course, you never throw your edges of your any of your dimensionals away because you can always use those. Hopefully that makes sense. So I have these long strips of dimensional now that I can place down the center and at the top and sides. Flipped it upside down. And I should have counted or something. I need several more. So yeah. These two are pretty skinny, so I'll put them at the top. And then that's gonna go on my small piece of purple posy. So obviously you could have made the inside of the house any color you want, but I wanted purple because why not? And it matches my outside piece, but that's of cardstock, but that's, you know, I could have made that any color as well. And then I'm gonna have the same situation here where this is poking out the top. So I'll just trim it. And actually I can see now that there's still some, oh, maybe that's a dimensional. I'll just trim that off as well. Sorry if that was off camera. I'm trying to get it where I can see. So everything's trimmed off there, but it's still the effect. Okay, just put it together. Let me go ahead and attach my big white piece to the purple posy. And then purple posy to the card base. Then the main window with the panes that we just did all that stuff on goes right in the center-ish. The shutters and the window box will be on dimensionals. I'll just do 3 on each one, keep it quick here. Oops, okay. And 3 on my window box, same reason as earlier. And then I'll do shutters first. Now sometimes I really have to make my brain think. So I had to physically, I'm sure y'all don't have to do this, but I had to lay it on the card and be like, okay, if it was closed, it would be this shape. So then if it was open, that's the direction it needs to go. And I put a little space between the window and the shutter, like a tiny little sliver of a space. And by the way, there are also these cool dies. There's 2 of them that cut out 4 each. So that's a total of 8 that make these little bracket things that you can put on your shutters also. I didn't use those, but so again, really cool set of dies here. I'm sure you can think of other projects you can use that image on as well. And then the window box down at the bottom, same as before, kind of overlapping the window. And then we have our flowers, our pot and our flower that will both go on with dimensionals as well. And that'll be it. So just a I mean, it's kind of a basic card by the time it's finished, but it's showing off all the stuff that this, not all, but a lot of the stuff that this stamp set can do. So I'll just put my little pot to the right of the window box, and that's it. And then I was like, oh, I forgot to add a greeting, but I didn't want to put one on there because I didn't know where to put it. I thought it looked good, nice and clean like this. And then, of course, you could add a greeting on the inside, or you could add one on the outside, but that's what I did. Thank you, Jackie. Hope you guys like these cards today. Jennifer, never tried inking a die. Thank you. I have known about it, but I never remember. You can also ink your embossing folders, and it's kind of the same concept. And what's cool with embossing folders is you can, I'm looking around for my wood one. I don't know where I put it. Oh, here it is. You can ink both sides and then run it through the folder and see which side you like best, because they're going to both give you a completely opposite effect. Like on this one would be the bricks would have the ink, and one just the lines would have the ink, basically. Although this one is 3D. So anyway, but they're both going to look totally different, and every folder is going to be different. But you can also use these as stamps too. Same thing. Ink it up, take your paper, press, pick it up, and get an image from your embossing folders. So same concept, basically. So keep that in mind as well when you are sort of planning projects. Here's the 3 cards from today. Which one was the better one? This one. So these will be the 3 that will you will have a chance to win if you comment on the video. Don't forget, even if you're watching replay, even if you just came on here at the end, and sorry, they're not all on the screen, and or share the video, but make sure you comment that you shared so that we will know, or that I will know that you shared it, since Facebook keeps that secret. All right, well, thank you guys for being here today. I appreciate it. I see that a lot of you like that tip with the little dimensional thing, so I thought it was pretty cool too. And this is the original dimensional I use, so it's staying sticky as long as I don't get cat hair or something all over it. So that's good. Thank you, Laura. Glad you learned a lot of new things. You'd also use a clear acetate. Yes, definitely. Oh, that's cool, Robin. She says you could use clear acetate to make your window, of course. But then she said you could show artwork on the wall inside the house. Definitely. Yeah, so many options. And I did think of, like, you could put wallpaper inside the house, all kinds of cool stuff. There could be a cat in there, an animal, or on the outside too. But anyway, lots of options. So I hope you guys like this bundle. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Shirley. Thank you, Diana. Thanks, Sherry and Jennifer. Brenda, definitely go back and watch. And of course, no problem. Thank you, Sandy. Thanks, Elizabeth. Yes, Robin, a cat, right? I knew I could say cat for Robin, but dogs as well. And also, like, I've seen cards with like these with, like, on the outside, little critters. So like a squirrel and all kinds of stuff. So lots of options. Don't forget, share what you make, even if it's totally different stamps and you're just like inspired to stamp today or whenever. Feel free to share that on my page. Like, it would help me because I always look for inspiration, and it would help other people, and you can just brag. So everybody have a great day. Next week, I should have said this at the beginning. What is probably going to happen is I'm going to do a Facebook Live on Wednesday all about the retiring list. That's my general plan right now. Next week, I do have an in-person retreat, so I'll be prepping for that and leaving for it Thursday. So it'll be Wednesday no matter what I do, but it's probably going to be about the retiring list. So I'll send out a customer email like always. You can always sign up for my email list to tell you when I'm going live, and I'll post on this page as well. So thank you, thank you. Thanks, Carrie. Glad you liked that tip. Awesome. Oh, she says the first card, oh, a picket fence. That's what Carrie's saying about this. Yes, you could totally just trim. That's a perfect picket fence. Look at that. Thank you, Carrie. Knew that could be something, but I couldn't think yesterday. And of course it could be a window like it's supposed to be, but cool. So hopefully y'all got that tip. Cut those off and you have a picket fence there. Awesome. All right, everybody have a great day. Thank you very much. Keep the tips coming even after we're finished. I'll see y'all next time. Thanks. Bye.